Hey ladies, how are you? So y'all, I messed around and got some quiet time today, and child, I just feel so free. I literally want to go lay a blanket out at night, and I just want to watch the stars, and I just want to talk to God. But I'm making this video in my car because I cannot get no quiet time in the house, no quiet, nothing. I have been trying to film this video for 3 days, and finally, I'm able to make it. I had to literally drive off, park at the park to make this video. So I'm gonna try to make it short, but I'm not gonna promise you it's gonna be short, but I will. I'm not gonna go full into detail, but I will, lead you by the steps to let you know on how God saved me. So it's true when he say his ways are not our ways and his thoughts are not our thoughts. The way I got saved is not how I had imagined. Some people get saved because, their parents take them to church, they grew up in church, they're saved. But no, my route was a totally different way. So let's get right into the video. So my mom, I grew up in a home where my mom was praying. My mom was saved, so my mom taught me how to pray. So I knew to pray, but I did not have a relationship with God. I didn't know nothing about God. I knew the book of Genesis. I had heard about the book of Revelation, but I really didn't know anything. So by the time the sixth grade came, I confessed Jesus Christ with my own mouth. I ended up going to church with my stepmom's cousin, and the anointing was heavy in there. The Spirit of God was really in that place, because I ended up on the altar on my own. No one made me go. I ended up on the altar, and I was crying, and I had confessed Jesus Christ, and I was saved, and I had went to school. I was excited. I had began to tell my little friends, I'm saved, I'm a Christian. I was like, no, you're not. And I'm like, yes, I am. I was happy, to be a Christian. So in that, I think God was happy with that. He could do something with that, because most kids now they're afraid, to confess Jesus Christ. But in sixth grade, I confessed him. So that was the beginning of me being saved. And I think with that, God had began to work. So the second time I said I was saved when I was in the 11th grade, and God had set me up then. I'm going to tell you about that. So my mom had joined this new church, and she had invited us to go to church. Now on the last day of school, I had just met this guy, and me and him was texting. We was on our way to church. Me and him was texting. He's like, what you doing? I'm like, I'm on my way to church. I'm like, what you doing? He's like, I'm on my way to church. I'm like, what church you go to? So he told me the name of the church. I'm like, no way. I'm like, my mom just invited us to that church. We're going to the same church. So I did not know then, God was going to get my attention. So I'm going to church for him because he's my boyfriend. But in that one day, I heard, ooh, I love God so much. He would do things like that. But in that, I found God. I heard the word one day, and it just touched me. I'm like, you know what? I'm getting saved. I had told him, I was like, I'm getting saved for real. I was like, I'm not going to be doing, this old stuff no more. I'm going to get for real about God, And that was a really bold move, because, guys, let's be honest, people would not confess Christ. You would be scared to tell your boyfriend, look, babe, I'm saved. I'm not going to be doing none of this stuff no more. But at that time, I was not having sex. Me and him were not fornicating. So, there wasn't nothing I just really had to worry about. And I guess that's kind of what made it easier too. But so I caught myself getting saved, and you know how you have trials and tribulations? I didn't know about all of that. So in 11th grade, I had my trials and tribulations, and boy, did I not make it through. Oh Lord, I gave up that Christian walk within, I'm gonna say, about 6 months. But I was really serious about God. You could see that I had changed, but I didn't know, when hard times came, that meant, to trust God. He would test your faith. So in that, I backslid, and I was having a lot of problems at home. Me and my grandma, my auntie, me and my family just was into it. They didn't understand me, I didn't understand them. I was at school getting bullied. They didn't know I didn't share it with them, and they would wonder why I would come home attitude-ish. And my only way out was when I went to work. I love my job. I worked at Sonic. So at work, it was my safe place. I didn't tell them I was getting bullied at school. It was just, just my safe place. So by the time 12th grade came, it's time for college. I'm ready to go. And when I began to go to college, that's another story for another day, but I really didn't go to real college. I went to a on-site campus. It's for people who have children or older people who work jobs and who need to take classes in the building. So I ended up going to that building, and in that I met a guy, and this guy was the devil himself. And I'm not gonna lie, God had warned me about him. The first warning was he allowed my grandma to tell me, Kashara, he's not the one for you. And the second warning was a car wreck. You know, different things was happening. Third thing, girls was trying to fight me. Fourth, he had already had a girlfriend or whatever. So I mean, the warning signs were there for me to leave him alone. And I had even actually told him that I didn't like him, but because of my heart, I felt so bad, you know, in his face when I told him I didn't like him. I ended up, you know, still talking to him, and I should have just left. So in that relationship, it got abusive, and me and him was fighting. You know, it was verbal abuse. It just was bad. Like, he was very controlling. He would take my car, and it just was bad. And like, I did not know he had a really bad stealing problem, and like, he just smoked marijuana so much. So I was going through all of that, and in that I ended up, you know, withdrawing from school. And I remember this lady, she begged me not to do it. We had like 1 week left before finals, 1 or 2 weeks. She's like, you got 2 more weeks in the semester, just stay in. Can you stay with somebody? Oh, my grandma had put me out, and she was like, can you just stay with somebody? Can you just stay with somebody? I'm like, no, because we had to move out of the state because he had he had did something so bad to his dad. I'm just gonna say his dad wanted to kill him. He wanted to kill him. He wasn't going to kill him, but he literally wanted to kill him. So we ended up having to skip state. So I withdrew from school, and up there, I mean, we were fighting, and I mean, from spitting in each other's faces to, oh my gosh, you know, him dragging me out the car, and just, he went to jail, and it just was so much. And I was going through that, and it just was bad. Like, I used to be so angry and mad. Like, I used to crack my phone. I just used to throw my phone just because I was so angry. That's how I let out my anger. And I didn't have anything. Like, I'm just gonna be really honest with you all. Like, I didn't have nothing. Was at the point I was selling my clothes, I was selling shoes, you know, just to get money. And before I had got with him, you know, I used to wear nice things. I don't like tennis shoes now, but I used to wear Jordans, Ugg boots, you know, all that stuff. Like, all my jewelry matched, purses, everything. Like, I had all of that before I got with him, but in that relationship with him, I lost it. And I remember just sitting down and talking to him one day, you know, because I really loved him, you know. I mean, you know, I began to stay with him, you know, when my grandma put me out. He was kind of there. And I remember I had told him, I was like, I don't have anything. I'm like, you need to, well, he did have a job. I'm like, you need to, you know, do more for me. And he just bust out laughing at my face. I'm like, what? And I was so stressed out that my cycle was staying on for like a whole month. Like, it was really bad. But anywho, in that, I just was like, I had wanted to come home, but it just was, I don't know. I mean, you can never understand about a business relationship until you have really been in one. So that happened, and we just was riding one day. Oh my gosh, things had got so bad that we was literally staying in a roach motel because God just has a way of doing everything. So we were staying in a roach motel, and we just was riding up and down the streets of Memphis. And I'm looking out the window one day, and I'm just, you know, rethinking my life. Like, this is not how I wanted my life. This is not how I planned my life. And he wasn't, you know, taking my advice. So I'm like, okay. When we get back to Mississippi, I told him, I said, I'm going back to college. He was like, college? You're not going back to college? How you going to help me pay these bills? So I knew at that moment, this is not the guy for me. I'm leaving because how I had started my life, I want to be a college, a smart, classy girl. And this life I was living, this was not life for me. So I ended up, you know, leaving him or whatever. So by the time I ended up in school, I started hanging around the wrong crowd of friends. I had flunked out of college. As a matter of fact, I was on academic probation first. And then, I forgot what comes after that. When you can't take classes, you have to sit out for a semester. Probation watch. Maybe it was probation watch. And then it was academic probation. And I was partying, drinking, smoking. You know, I just was doing all these things. And, like, by the time the summer came, I was like, okay, I don't like my life. I can't live my life like this. So I had began to start seeking God. And at that point, I was challenged. My pastor had challenged me. She was like, listen to spiritual music. Just sit in your chair, listen to your spiritual music, read your Bible, get on your knees and pray. In that, you know, God had kind of filled me up. And in that moment, I'm like, yes, I'm real about God. I love God. I can do this. And God had begun to work things out for my favor. So I told you I was on academic probation, and I had got into a fight on college campus, so they had charged me a fine that I couldn't even pay. And the fine just was $250, but things were so hard for me at that time because I really didn't have a supportive family. Yeah, it was rough then. And couldn't pay $250, so God literally worked out a miracle for me. I was able to get into another college without a transcript, and he got me a dorm room. And in it, I was in my dorm room every day reading my word. My grades was, oh my gosh, I had so much favor in my life. I had all A's and B's, and then I was getting my word. I wasn't fooling with nobody. Just, it was so good. Like, the period of isolation is great, and I saw that a lot during getting saved. God took me through isolation. So I ended up dating this guy. Like, I found out it was one of the devil schemes to get me in. He sucked the guy, and of course, you know, I started fornicating and stuff, and I got off from God, and I saw how my life started going down. Then I got back on track, started reading my Bible. I had learned how God speaks. And he began to speak to me, and I came back on college campus, started back fornicating again. Life went down the drain again. Like, he had blessed me with a really nice dorm room, and by the time I had got done fornicating and stuff, not giving him time, I lost that dorm room. I had to go stay in the hood. That's what we call the dorms, the hood. I had to begin to stay in the hood, and my life just not going good, and I just was tired, and I just cried out to God. I was on college campus. I was playing my gospel music. I was praying. I just was crying out to him, you know, Holy Spirit, follow me, save me. I think the song is called Spirit Fall Down. I just was crying out for him, and it's true, you know, God hear your cry. So I cried out to him. He heard me, and I had ended up having a dream. I don't understand the dream. I still don't understand the dream to this day, but the dream was crazy. So I ended up coming home, and I began to seek his face again. Started back going to church, and I was for real. So I had graduated community college, so now it's time for me to go to a 4-year college. So I'm like, okay, this time I go to college, I'm be for real about God. I'm not gonna fornicate, I'm not gonna party, I'm not gonna drink, I'm not gonna smoke, I'm not gonna do any of these things. And I was really serious. I went on college campus, and I was reading my word. I got in there, and I ended up meeting this guy, and when I did not fornicate off the back. So I ended up, I liked the guy, and the guy liked me, so I ended up, you know, spending the night at his house. And I was at his house, you know, I had told him I was saved, and I didn't want to have sex, and like, he respected it. And I read my Bible app over there, and I was like, really cool. And one day, y'all, I don't know why I gave in. I just gave in, and I was so freaking convicted. Y'all, I did not want to go back to my dorm room, because in my dorm room, I was spending time with God. I was playing my spiritual music, and I started fornicating. And then you have to be careful what you ask for. I was so bored in my room by myself. I was like, I don't know what goes on campus. I need to know the tea. He sent me somebody that knew all the tea on campus, and that person had begun to distract me. And God was sending me dreams about this person. Like, in the dream, I would be blind. And my friend had told me that meant like visual blockers. So I was just blind in the dream. And then I just felt like I needed God. I'm like, God, I need to get to my room. God, I need to start reading my Bible. So I ended up making my way to my room, and I began to read my word and stuff. And in that, God was working with me. So I'm saved, but I'm living lukewarm. I started back partying, right? So I'm convicted, and I want to go back to my room. So now I went a little far. I ended up smoking some marijuana, and I knew I shouldn't have done it, because I said I was gonna never smoke again. So I ended up smoking marijuana. I knew I was gonna be paranoid. I ended up locking myself in the bathroom, and then when I locked myself in the bathroom, I couldn't function. I was so scared I could not function. So my friend ended up coming to get me out the bathroom. She was like, okay, come on, we finna go home. So on the ride home, y'all, I saw visions. Like, I saw Adam and Eve in a garden, and it went all the way from Moses to Jesus, and I heard the good gospel, and I bust out crying, God is real. And I had began to explain to him with the gospel man, and it just was crazy. She bust out crying. So the Spirit of God, like, was really in that car. So at that moment, I said, you know what, I'm getting saved. I'm for real. I'm not going to play with God no more. He's real. You know, instead of showing me he's real, instead of pulling me out this situation, you know, instead of putting his favor on me, and I do something, he take it back. So I had saw that God was real. So I had this God-sent friend. God would send people in your life, and he would take people from your life. I had this God-sent friend, and I'm at the church now. started going to the church with her, and I have never left. Like, if you're going to be saved, you really need an accountability partner, because if you have friends that's unequally yoked, they're going to lead you to do worldly things. And that's what I had, friends, that led me to do worldly things. But when I met her, she led me to the things of Christ. So I started going to that church. I started receiving, prophetic words. I started learning my spiritual gifts. So I began to pray. They challenged me to pray. I began to pray more. I began to read my word more. And now I'm saved. And it's funny because the people who knew me, when I was real and stuff, they were like, you really changed. Like, they call me the new me. They're like the new Krishan. And it's so funny because God would transform me on his own. I didn't change myself. God, God transformed me. So, and that I got saved through, fornicating, through smoking, through drinking, through partying. Because when God truly saved me, I saw the difference from when I was living in the world, from living with him. And I would never go back, to the world, never ever. Because I have been praying for a car since 2013. Because I got my first car in 2013. I sold it. I've been praying for a car since 2013, since I sold my first one. It's 2019, and God has just now, well, I had cars in between him, but God has blessed me with a really great, nice car that I got on his strength, and just everything he do. So it's a blessing to be saved. I have so much freedom in him. Like, nothing is limited. Like, everything is ours in the kingdom. Like, I just love God so much, and I would never go back to the world, because in the world I felt so empty, alone, and I always just wanted to cry. But now I'm just like this happy bunny bouncing off the walls, and I know myself. So that is, part of my testimony of how I got saved. God saved me through the mess in college, So you can be saved in college. And I will make a video on being saved in college, because I learned my lesson, fornicating and dating guys. Now I know, it's important to be equally yoked. You cannot have unsaved friends, or you cannot have unsaved men, because it's quicker for them to take you to the world than you to bring them to the kingdom. And I had to learn that. So that was the thing. So that's just a little bit of my testimony, how I got saved. If you all want to know about the abusive relationship I was in, about being saved in college, or how God spoke to me and all of that, feel free to comment down below. And I really hope you all like it. I'm sorry that I had to make it in my car, but I'm just glad that I got this out to you. So if you're looking to be saved, just do it. Just take it from me, a girl who used to party, drink, smoke, didn't know God. I almost went to a strip club because I was so broke. Just, take it from me. It is truly a privilege to be saved. Don't let the enemy trick you like it's born to be saved, because it's the best thing ever. And I really wish that more of our men would get saved, because there's so many beautiful women, out there being saved, and it's like a lot of older guys being saved. I don't want to marry, an older guy. I want to marry, a nice looking young man. So I just really hope that young men, would really be saved and get for real about God. So I love you all, and just continue to seek God, continue to pray and talk to him, because he hear you. He heard me when I cried out to him, so I know he hear you too. So I love you all, and be blessed. Mwah.